This next video is going to talk about mouthpiece buzzing. So this is brass specific, but is ridiculously important nonetheless. So you've done your breathing exercises, you are ready to play, you have everything set up the way that you need it, you have your mouthpiece. For this I'm going to be using a trombone mouthpiece, but it doesn't really matter what you do. The big thing is whenever you play, just a couple of reminders, you're going to want to have that mouthpiece anchored to the bottom right here underneath that bottom lip. And the reason why is because the amount of vibration that happens from the top lip. And if you press down on the top lip, it doesn't vibrate as vigorously and you can't make any sound. For example, if I were going to free buzz, meanwhile, if you do the same thing to the bottom, it doesn't really change the vibration. So you're going to want to have that anchored down right there. So you're going to have a little bit of a downward angle to your mouthpiece when you're mouthpiece buzzing. The best thing that I have found is just a thumb and two fingers on that mouthpiece, the shank of the mouthpiece right here. So you have the rim, and then you have the cup, and then you have the shank at the bottom. So you do thumb and two fingers. If for some reason, if you're like using a tuba mouthpiece and you need a little bit more stability, that's perfectly fine. But for all intents and purposes, this is the adopted way to hold the mouthpiece. The first exercise we're going to do is basically just called a straight buzz. The goal is to stop the note with a solid middle and no bumps. And so it doesn't really matter what note you play on this. Now, if you have a reference and you want to do concert F, that probably would be the easiest thing to do. But for this, I'm not going to give a reference. So you're going to get your mouthpiece set, make sure it feels just right. You're going to get a good breath, and you're going to anchor that to the bottom. Now, mine had a little bump at the beginning, so you're going to want to get that out of there. And basically, you're going to go as far as you can before your air starts to give out. It doesn't matter how long you go, but just a good buzz just to keep it going. Let's do that one more time. So I'm going to put that on my anchor it. I'm going to get a good breath. Now, to stop there, to stop the sound, all you're going to do is stop the air. There's nothing really much to it other than that. The next exercise we're going to do is a metered exercise. So you're going to need your metronome, and I have my trusty handy metronome on my laptop. You can put it on your phone. You can do whatever you want to do. It doesn't really matter. We've talked more about metronomes in other videos. So we're going to start a metronome, and we're going to put it 80 beats per minute. That's just a good relative starting tempo for any kind of exercise. And what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for 2, and we're going to buzz out for 4. Now, the best thing to do is to divide the beat in the head, so you're thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and stop as you're going. I would recommend tapping your foot. I'm a heel tapper. If you're a toe tapper, that's great. Heel tapper doesn't really matter. But for practicing purposes, tapping your foot is going to be great to keep with that metronome. You're externalizing that beat. So you're tapping the heel, you're getting everything set. You've anchored your mouthpiece so that way you don't put too much pressure on the top lip and you get a great buzz. We're taking a good 2-beat breath, and then we're going to buzz out for 4. So, ready. And... So, we're going to do that one more time. The foot's going the entire time. So you have down and down and down and down and stop right there. Do that again. So we're going to anchor our mouthpiece, get a good breath, 2 beats. As you're doing these exercises, it's important to remember that the direction of the air plays just as much importance as what your embouchure is doing. So the higher you go, the lower you want to blow. And the lower you go, the higher you want to blow. It's actually a little counterintuitive. It's backwards. And the reason why we do that is because the jaw placement allows for that wind to go up or down, that air to go up or down, which will help you get to those higher or lower positions. And when you put it on the horn, the intonation on the higher or lower partials will adjust as well if you're good at directing that air appropriately. The next exercise we're going to do is called a dive bomb. I love dive bombs. I like to add different sound effects at the ends of them. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to start, and then you're just going to let it fall. So you're going to anchor mouthpiece. Now, some of you, if you're just a beginner, you're probably not going to start very high or go very far down, and that's okay. The goal is to build on that range until you can start very high and move down smoothly all the way to the bottom. So we're going to do that, and this is an unmetered exercise. You're just going to take a good breath. Now, the goal is, as you're changing registers, to let this part of the lips do the work. You don't want to have your whole face contort and change or anything like that. You just want to have this part in the air. Now, the trick is, too, to make sure that your air is adjusting so that way on the bottom the note still comes out. So we're going to do that one more time. Get a good breath. All the way down to the bottom. Another mouthpiece exercise I like to do is called a zipper, or at least that's what I call it. What you're doing is you're starting at the bottom. Unlike a dive bomb, you're starting at the bottom and you're going all the way up as high as you can go. Same thing, this is an unmetered exercise. You can do it as fast or as slow as you want to. If you're really, really, really good at it, you could go super duper slow. So you're going to take it, you're going to anchor it, get a good breath. Now, as you go towards the top, you might have some dimples start to show up right here. This is a great exercise to do in front of a mirror. I highly encourage you to practice in front of a mirror if at all possible. You're going to giggle a lot at the beginning because it is funny to watch yourself. But if you know where to look on the face, it's really going to help you out. And sometimes in your bathroom, you can get some really amazing acoustics if you go and practice in front of your big bathroom mirror. So that is the zipper. You want to keep the air going fast all the way to the top. The next exercise we're going to do is called a siren, downward siren. You can do it metered and unmetered. We're going to start with unmetered. You start at the top, you go down to the bottom, and then you come back up. Try to landing on the same note that you started on. So let's give that a shot. So we're going to get a nice relaxed breath. Shoulders are down. And what that's doing is it's giving you a starting and an ending position. A way to make that metered is you do 2 beats going down and then 2 beats going back up. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start my metronome. And we're going to go start at the top, go down 2 beats, and then come back up 2 beats. So here we go. Nice relaxed breath. All there you can take in. And that will allow you to do that metered. And it's good because it gives you a midpoint and you can divide the beat in your head. So let's do that one more time. Metered. Breathe. And then the final mouthpiece exercise we're going to do, there's a bunch of them out there, but this is the last one we're going to do on this video, is we're going to do an upward siren. So what you're going to do is you're going to start at the bottom, go up as high as you can, and come back down, trying to land on the same note you started on. So we're going to do that unmetered first. Do that one more time. And then you can do it metered. So we're going to go turn on our metronome, our handy dandy metronome, and we're going to go up for 2 counts and down for 2 counts. So that way we have a definite beginning, middle, and end to the exercise. So let's do that. Get your foot going along with it. Every time you turn on the metronome, it's a good idea to tap the foot. So here we go. Ready. 2 counts in. Ready. Breathe. As is important with any exercise or playing that you're going to do, it is always important to be consistent in your practice. So every time you get at that mouthpiece, do a little bit of buzzing. It doesn't have to be the same every day. If you're doing about 30 seconds of breathing, I would say 30 to 45 seconds of buzzing for a beginner, up to a minute of buzzing for a junior high or high school student. And of course, anytime you get into a pickle, so to speak, with your etude or your solo or your band music, get out your mouthpiece and try to buzz it and try to sing it, and that will help as well. So buzzing is an all-around great activity. Hopefully this gave you some ideas to increase your practice and to better yourself and be more consistent. Happy practicing.